I've been reading through this antique diary from 1917. It was written by a 17-year-old woman named Anglesey. This video is a part 2 to go along with my last video, where I introduced the importance of this book written by one of Anx's friends. The book is about Buckminster Fuller, who married Anglesey's sister, Anne. And there's an entire chapter about Bucky's relationship with Anne, which includes a detailed account of Anx's family life. This chapter is literally chock full of information, so I'm probably going to have to make a few videos about this. But for now, I'll just read some highlights. The beginning of this chapter talks about Bucky meeting Anne, and of course also meeting her sister Anglesey. An interesting fun fact is that Bucky actually thought Anne was taken, and he ended up actually going for Anx first. Anx, as she was called, was even prettier than Anne, an authentic beauty with the same exquisite skin, sea blue eyes, and hair that she was so vain about that she refused to put up until she was 18. Then we learn a lot about Anx's family life. Just staying home at the Hewletts was great fun. There were 5 boys and 5 girls, ranging in age from 19, Anne, down to Roger, a toddling 2-year-old. They were, with the exception of Jim, all extroverts with high spirits, high tempers, and such quick wits as made life in their midst a constant gaiety. The children used to have terrific family fights, first-class brawls with 5 or 6 of them taking part, punching, biting, and pulling one another's hair. Boys and girls, all mixed up, fighting like wolf cubs. The twins, Hope and Hester, who were only 4 years old, did not take part. They never said a word, but stood side by side, silently staring at Bucky, which was, perhaps, more unnerving. When I read the diary, I often get comments about how Anx does not mention her parents often. And it almost seems like she's allowed to come and go as she pleases, she skips school often without any consequences, and this chapter actually sheds some light on that. The house is described as a place of violent turmoil. Their mother, a beautiful woman who had thus endowed her daughters, was a semi-invalid who seldom left her upstairs bedroom. And their father was a celebrated architect and mural painter. With their father frequently away on important commissions and their mother unable to cope, they were bringing themselves up and doing a surprisingly good job of it. Invalid is an old term that's not used anymore to describe someone who has a disability. Though it doesn't mention any disability specifically, the use of the phrase unable to cope makes me think it must be some kind of mental health issue. And I think this is really important because it's easy to assume that Anx, being wealthy, had an easy life. But this reminds us that we're all human and we all have our struggles. Thanks for coming along on the diary journey with me.